Hey everybody, welcome to another Mighty Views. Today we're looking at a plate bag set. So this is the second video I made of this. The first video got corrupted, we lost it. So I lost the cool comparison I did to the standard Slickster that is now gone, unfortunately. And this guy, and I got to point out some minor differences that only the super gear queers like me are going to really give a shit about. I'll point out the ones that I remember. Right now, this MOLLE base is in its ultimate form. It's, I guess, for my nerds out there, it's Super Saiyan MOLLE base. We're going to strip it back down to regular MOLLE base so you can see kind of how it was meant to be. We got it as a total assaulter setup right now. Cool part about MOLLE base Slickster is it can be like any Slickster, wear a very slicked out, low profile vest. If you are a real deal dude, not just a BB warrior, you have a job to where you need to be able to be low profile, gang unit, drug enforcement unit, something like that as a police agency. These things are kind of cool because you can actually slick them all the way down where you can wear armor underneath, hoodie, jacket, whatever. Keep it very slicked out, very low profile. And then if you are like one of those task force, you can beef this thing all the way up to assault time. So you can go from chilling, watching, doing what you got to do, to throwing all this cool shit on and raid time. You can go raid Shadow Legends real fast with this setup. So it's kind of cool. Let's strip all this shit off though. Let's look at the MOLLE base for what it is out when she's not all ready to party. Let's get this assault cummerbund off. So I'm going to go ahead and get real quiet. I'm going to strip all this shit off so my editor can speed this process up. So this takes a few seconds. All right, we're all set now. That literally only took like maybe 1 or 2 minutes to do, to strip it all the way out. Other thing we didn't take off, we didn't take the zip adapters off because there's no need to unMOLLE those. We did not take the radio wing off, and we didn't take the PGT off. But otherwise, we're stripped all the way down. Now, mind you, we don't have a cummerbund. We would have to have a separate cummerbund. That means we would probably have an elastic cummerbund on standby, probably in a pouch. Most likely in this back panel, there would be the separate elastic cummerbund in there that we could just pull out of the back panel, slap on here, and be good to go. And that's kind of the nifty part about this setup. Minor differences that I noted from when I had the original Slickster that I was able to do the side-by-side on. There are some slight changes to the shoulder profile through here. There is just a little more of a divot in here and the actual contouring. There's a little more contouring in the actual neck cavity. I've noticed. I don't know if that is a thing between the Slickster and the MOLLE base, or if that is just a difference in the gen Slickster I had versus this. Maybe they just made those changes throughout the generations of Slicksters. MOLLE base has very small, minute changes to the front bag that I noticed between the Slickster I had and this. Again, that could just be a Slickster generational thing and not necessarily a Slickster to Slickster MOLLE base change. There were some small changes in the size of the Velcro panel up here. This was just a little longer, and there was a little bit of differencing in the front loop face here. This loop panel was just a little shorter than the loop panel on the Slickster that I had. Otherwise, we're talking the exact same profile on the front. So the front bag, almost no difference, almost exactly the same. Big differences is all in the rear bag. Rear bag on the Slickster has the same loop field back here, also has a large loop field right here. So if you're familiar with Slicksters, you're already looking at this going, where's the loop field in the back? How do I attach my cummerbund? So capture cummerbund. That's what we have going on here. We still have the loop field, but it's hidden. It's hidden under this laser cut MOLLE panel, and I'm about to show it to you. So now, just like a Slickster, you get the same kind of, same basic, what are these? Plate bags internally. You get the same kind of build and setup inside of the plate bags themselves. You get the same setup, same system. It's all the same internally. Nothing's changed. Except now we have what's called a captured cummerbund. You got this loop field here. That's where your cummerbund attaches. Pull the assault cummerbund out. It goes right here. Put it in place, and then this covers it and then secures over it. So that's your big difference. So now you no longer have that snag hazard like you had on the original Slickster, where if something could theoretically get in here and yank your cummerbund off. So I think that is a nice addition and a nice change to the MOLLE base over the standard Slickster. MOLLE base does have a 6 rows of laser cut MOLLE going across, and then it looked like it was around 14 down, so 6 and 14 plus or minus. So it's hard to tell with all the lasers, hard to count it all out, but I may have been plus or minus 1 or 2 down, but it's definitely a 6 across. Cool thing about adding the zips, I do have a review of these already. I'll put a card up here if you want to see that. You can go check that out and then come back to this. Before you just finish this, then go check it out later. But the card will pop up nonetheless. Is now you can make this MOLLE base bag very similar to a FCPC V5 rear bag, and allows you to use ADAP back panels. That is kind of cool. I think that's really fantastic. The Ferro kind of has that backwards compatibility modularity thing going on, and that's kind of the signature of Ferro. These do come in multicam black, Ranger green, as you see here, wolf gray, and coyote brown. So that's kind of their standard colorways. Yes, AOR1 does exist. I believe AOR2 might even exist, not necessarily in MOLLE bases, but in Ferro products. But those are like special contract shit. You're not going to find those unless they do hype beast special giveaways. They're outside of their normal colorway and color line. That's about it as far as my notes. Let's get those out of here. See my cheat sheet. Overall, definitely a cool plate carrier. It kind of falls in between. So you've got like your Slickster, then you've got your RE Factor custom special Slickster thing that they made with Ferro. Then you've got these MOLLE bases. Then you've got the FCPC V5s. That's kind of like your hierarchy of Ferro products. When it comes to just the Ferro world, let's say cutting RE Factor out of the equation altogether, because I know someone's going to bring, what about RE Factor, buddy? It goes Slickster, MOLLE base, V5. These are directly in the middle. So these are kind of like the stopgap between a standard Slickster and a V5. So if you have one of these and you're really not ready to go up to a V5, the cool part is you can get a lot of V5 functionality out of one of these. As you saw at the beginning of the video, she was already dressed up, ready to rock and roll, and she was pretty damn close to a V5. Biggest difference is the shoulders. You're never going to get V5 functionality out of the shoulders in one of these, but your shoulders are always going to be very similar to concealable armor shoulders. So it's kind of a trade-off. V5 shoulders, they're definitely assaulter shoulders, man. They're a totally different world. They've got the buckle. They're not going to conceal well under like a shirt or some shit like that. This guy here, even if I've got it all set up like an assaulter, I can get it cut back down and make it concealable. I ran this over the Veterans Day weekend. This will probably sound very dated by the time this releases because it's probably been a while. I did run it for the entire weekend as a full assaulter setup. It was extremely comfortable. In the setup, I had it with the Axle shoulder pads and the 3-inch assaulter cummerbund and everything else. It definitely has a place in the hierarchy when it's kitted all the way out, and even more so when it's not. So I think it's definitely worth getting. If you're in the market for a Slickster, I think I would tell you maybe consider this over the Slickster for the simple fact it gives you a little more customization, a little more modularity over a standard Slickster, and especially because it gives you this rear captured cummerbund, and that's something the Slickster does not give you. And I think that alone, and the ability to add something to your back panel, even if it's just, and hear me out on this one, even if it's just running something like this here cattail wearable antenna. I ran into issues with just my plain Slickster. I couldn't even run a wearable whip because there was nothing on the back to do. I had to cobble together some weird shit with Velcro loop fields and Velcro Vertex ladder lock systems that was meant to use as a MOLLE field to MOLLE pouches into a bag to weave. It was a nightmare. I made it work, but it's a pain in the nuts when this plate bag solves all of that with the laser cutting. So even if you were just going to run it slick and never ever plus it up or add zippers, I would say grab this over a Slickster just so you can run antennas and other small things The laser cutting gives you all of that. All right, that is all I got, guys. That's my last little bit of 2 cents on this. Thanks for watching. I hope you got something out of this review and this video. As always, get out there, man. Play some airsoft. I like to go to D14. That's the field that's local to me. That's the one that's closest. There are other fields in the area, but I like that one just because I'm really lazy and I don't like to drive too far. Plus, it's just a fantastic field. If you're ever in the area, look for me. I'm sure you can find me. Say hi. I won't bite. Also, LARP smarter, not harder. Consider subscribing. It's the little helmet logo in the bottom right-hand corner. Hopefully, I'll see you out there. Peace.